Do I look like gorilla to you? Look at me. Do I look like gorilla? Do I look like monkey? Get out of here, man. What kind of scientist are you? This is one of the big failures of scientists, thinking that human beings were once gorillas and monkey, and then we became human beings. This is kind of nonsense. If you don't know why you should be proud, this should be one of the reasons for you to be proud. Because you have been here even before anybody was here. Your continent, your land was here even before anything came to existence.
This is the journey to one Africa.
Hey everybody, welcome back to SNOA. Today, I want to share about something that is very important, and it's just a breaking news, guys. It happened actually a couple hours ago, earlier today, and this is one of the continuity of the discovery of wonders of Africa. All right, so Africa, original name of Africa, actually, the one that I prefer to use is Al-Keblan, which means the original of mankind, or the Garden of Eden, where perfect peace and perfect love and everything exists. You know what I'm saying? We all know the story of Garden of Eden. That is Africa. And Africa, it is the beginning of mankind. Not because we just say to brag about it, but because that's how it is. You know, that's how it is. The first man on earth, was found in Ethiopia so many years ago. That to say, Africa, it is the mother of the world. I always say it is that Ethiopia is the mother of Africa, and Africa is the mother of the world. And it makes sense, because that's where everything began. And in Ethiopia, it was never colonized, right? And in Ethiopia, that's where the symbol of black power, the battle of Adwa between Italians and Ethiopians, happened a lot of years ago, and Ethiopia won the victory. Right now, on September, there will be inauguration of Jared, one of the biggest dams in Africa that will produce a huge megawatt of electricity. It's going to help not only Ethiopia, but the entire continent of Africa. And this is the country I love, by the way. Ethiopia is the country I love. When I sit down and start talking about Ethiopia, I can spend the whole day long talking about this country, because I have so many good memories about this place. I've been there, more than 10 times, and it's been incredible, right? It's a country that actually accepted me and welcomed me to start my movement of One Africa. Right now, it is Ethiopia. Ethiopia opened up, arms for me. And we started to move. Even the launch of One Africa movement, we launched in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and that's where the HQ of African Union is. When you go to Ethiopia, you go to Addis Ababa street, you can actually feel the presence of Pan-Africanism. You know what I'm saying? You can see the banners on the street. You can see how everybody's talking about Africa, Africa, Africa. It is just beautiful. And that's where the old king of Ethiopia, King Haile Selassie, he was among the few leaders who started the movement of Organization of African Union, including Kwame Nkrumah, Julius Kambarage Nyerere, Kenyatta, and so on and so forth, Kenneth Kaunda, and other people. All these ancestors came together and started there in Ethiopia. That's where OAU began. So Ethiopia, it is the mother of Africa, but also Africa is the mother of the world. If you want to experience pure African culture, you go to Ethiopia, you will see that, you will see, how people dress, how people, eat their food. You will see everything. You see the dance, you will see the songs. You clearly see that this is ancient culture. It's very long time ago. It has not been diluted. It is there, you can see. Ethiopia is one of the few countries in the continent. When you listen, the secular music in Ethiopia, 90% of music, they're talking about patriotism, talking about Ethiopia, talking about all this stuff. And just a little percent is talking about love and love making and all those kind of stuff that if you come to other countries, man, it's like 90-something%. So there's this zeal, there's this urge, there's this different kind of feeling. And that's why it's one of my favorite places to go to Ethiopia, because of the feeling, right? As a Pan-Africanist, as somebody who is fighting for the union of the continent and the decolonization of the minds of Africans, I always love when I get there. They have a long way to go. It's not a perfect place, but it is the place where you can experience it all. So I always tell my people that if you want to experience Africa, if you want to experience ancient Africa, go to Ethiopia. You'll actually see that. The people, the culture, the food, I love the food and everything. And today, if you go to Addis Ababa, you might think that you're not in Africa, you know what I'm saying? Because of how beautiful and clean and let there be light that city is, you know, I call it the city of light. You'll be surprised. So probably if you want to experience culture, really old culture, you need to go to countryside, not Addis Ababa, because Addis Ababa is very well developed right now and you cannot really experience that. And I think that's something to consider. Is there any other place in Addis Ababa where you can actually go and experience the old ancient culture there in Addis Ababa? And I can go to the Museum of Adwa, but that is just a museum. But I'm talking about really experiencing the old culture. You can actually do that through eating coffee, drinking coffee, you know, in the coffee shops, in the hotels. They always have this small corner where you can experience Ethiopian culture by drinking its coffee. It's beautiful by there. One of my favorite coffees of all time, right? But let me know, Ethiopians, in the comment section. Is there a segment where, I mean, a place, a region where people they can just go and sit and really experience the old ancient Ethiopian culture, or you need to go to the countryside? All right, guys, that aside, the news of today: fossil teeth reveal a previously unknown human ancestor from Eastern Africa. Guys, this is in Africa, by the way. When you talk about Ethiopia, talking about East Africa. This is where the first human on earth was found, East Africa. All right? And I am in East Africa. So you understand why I'm fighting for Africa. Eh? I just want to connect those dots a little bit. Scientists uncover 13 fossilized teeth at Ethiopia's Led Geraru site, dating back approximately 2.6 to 2.8 million years. Guys, guys, 2.6 to 2.8 million years. Dang. Can you imagine, guys? That this world, it has been here for more than millions of years. And there's some of the, I don't know, creatures found in 2.8 million years, which reveal the presence of both early Homo and newly identified Australopithecus species. So guys, I had to Google actually to see. Homo, I know. Homo, they kind of like these big, you know, they kind of look like big monkey, you know, in our language we call it soko. But this is what, you know, scientists say that human being, before we became human being, were actually Homo sapien and all those stuff before. And the picture, it looks like this. You guys can see the picture here. They say, you know, we'll actually be like that. And they always connect us, you know, Africans with Homo. But guys, let me tell you this, man. This is not who we used to be, all right? This is not. Yes, we might have people look like this, but, you know, it doesn't mean that we came from those, you know, monkey and gorillas. No, man, that's not us. Because I can question that. Okay, if we came from that, why today we are not coming from, you know, gorillas or monkeys, you know? I think this is kind of the way that was used to diminish Africa. These Homo, I believe they were Homo sapiens, whatever, they were there, but they have nothing to do with human being. Human being and these Homos are two separate things. Just the same way you see monkey, you see Homo, you see gorillas, and you see human being. They are two different things. Do I look like gorilla to you? Look at me. Do I look like gorilla? Do I look like monkey? Get out of here, man. What kind of scientist are you? This is one of the big failures of scientists, thinking that human beings were once gorillas and monkey, and then we became human beings. This is kind of nonsense. These are smart people, but who came with this theory? What kind of nonsense theory is this? I was created by God, by the image of God. I'm not Homo. Homo is Homo, you know, whatever. Gorilla are gorillas, and human being is human being. It's me. I'm right here. Look at me. Am I looking like this gorilla right here, Homo? All right. So I had to search as well Australopithecus. Australopithecus. It actually basically looks like gorilla. Honestly, like just like gorilla. You guys, you can see here. So they discovered the teeth of Homo that they can trace back to 2.8 million years. These discoveries follow the 2013 finding of a 2.8 million year old Homo jaw and aims to clarify the coincidence and distinction between Homo and Australopithecus. So I was actually Googling to see the difference between Homo and these Australopithecus. such a difficult name. But, you know, the distinction between these two creatures is brain size, dentition, and skeleton features related to bipedalism and tool use. So that's basically Homo species includes modern humans. Homo sapiens, guys, that's not me, by the way. So if you believe in that, that is you, but not me. Generally have larger brain, smaller teeth, and the thinner enamel and more human-like limb proportion compared to Australopithecus. All right, that is human-like. All right, not really human, but human-like. So that is very important point to highlight them. Teeth came from the three separated ash layers dated by volcanic activities, with Homo teeth in the oldest of youngest layers. Okay, anyways, guys, let me stop there. So basically, they did discovery, these scientists, of whatever these Homo teeth that trace back 2.8 million years ago. Just by this discovery, guys, if you do not believe that God is alive, then I don't know what else you need. We have been here today. This is 2025, right? So basically, we've been here for 2,000 years and 25 after, after Christ, right? And but can you imagine that the world was here for 2.8 million years ago? It is crazy discovery. And it happens in Africa. All these discoveries of old creatures of many years, they happen in Africa. So let me tell you, these Africans, if you don't know why you should be proud, this should be one of the reasons for you to be proud. Because you have been here even before anybody was here. Your continent, your land was here even before anything came to existence. And that's why colonizers, when they decided to come to Africa, they knew this. They knew this. I always say this, that, colonizers, they know better about Africa than Africans ourselves. And that's why we need to read the history of our continent to really understand. Because this continent is full of so much richness, full of so much knowledge and understanding. Until today, people are still discovering things that happened 2.8 million years. Can you understand? Do you really understand how much more is in this continent? If Homo, they were here 2.8 million years ago, that means it could be even human beings were there as well. But they're not yet discovered. Maybe a lot of discoveries that are just under the ground right now, and we have no idea. Our forefathers, they were here in the ground, we have no idea. The entire continent of Africa is just one, and with a little portion of people, number of people somewhere allocated together, one family, extended to become one of the larger continents. You guys remember the story of Noah? Remember Shem, Ham, and Japheth? You remember that back in the days, that's how the creation started. We did not come from Homo. No, God said He said, let us create man in our own likeness and our own image. And they made Adam, and then Adam and Eve, and then they have kids, and then later on Noah and all the world. It was too much sin, so God, punished everybody. Only Noah, and there were actually 8 people. They started new life. And at that time, that's where even Africans were found. Some of you believe that, Africans were cast then, but I read the Bible and see they were not Africans. Africans were not cast. Go and read that scripture, you'll understand again. Kushite people, they were never cast there in that scripture. Go and read it. So this is to tell you that Africa, it is so rich. And that's why the mission of Swahili Nation One Africa is to defend the heritage of Africa. The heritage and the image of Africa, and to bring back all heritage that were taken a long time ago by colonizers back to the motherland. That is our mission, because this Africa, we can stay here for another 1 million years to come and we'll never be able to grasp the beauty, the intensity, the understanding of this continent. So sometimes I just pray that God, please, and I pray right now, God, please give me understanding of where I am right now, because I might be sitting right now, I might be living in heaven and I don't know. Africa is heaven on earth. 2.8 million ago. Do you know how many things happened for those years here in this continent? You don't see that story anywhere else but Africa. That's why those guys they came to Africa, they took our people, they brought them into their lands. Why? Because back in the days, Africa was already civilized. The most civilization, it was here in Africa. Egypt, that was one of the greatest kingdom ever happened. You have Mali Empire, that was the greatest kingdom. You have Ghana, you have Kushite, you have Ethiopia. Man, you have crazy, deep history of this continent and one of the richest men on earth ever happened, Mansa Musa, we never talk about it. He's not listed under Forbes. Why? Because they can never do that to undermine you. Africa, it is the beginning. It is the beginning of mankind. So Africans, why do you live such a miserable life? Why do you act like you're nothing? Why do you act like you're below everybody? Why you look at your skin and you feel inferior? You have a sense of inferior just because of the color of your skin. Why? You should be walking head high, hands lifted up, and walk like you own the world. Why? Because this is the beginning of mankind. We're sitting on it. We're living on it. Africa, be delivered from your mind. Be opened. Understand this. Be decolonized to know where you're standing. Leaders of this continent, do you know these stories? Do you know these histories of this continent? Open your eyes and see. This is heaven on earth, and we're living in it. But, well, it feels like hell sometimes, but it's heaven. You might be waiting to go to heaven, but what if this is the heaven? Because of lack of understanding, we're living miserable life where we're supposed to be living such a beautiful life. Africa, rise up. Africans, rise up. Understand who you are. Learn about yourself. This is the best place to be. You don't have to run to go anywhere. They will do everything possible to kick you out of the land by bringing their people here, by pushing you guys away, by wars and people running away. They're being illegal immigrants somewhere else outside of the continent, and you're leaving this continent for who? To whom? We have to fight for our land. We have to embrace our land. We have to protect our land. But we cannot do those things if we do not know the history. And that's why part of our mission is to decolonize the mind through authentic knowledge. Decolonizing the mind through authentic knowledge basically is decolonizing everything that we've learned during colonialism until right now. Through authentic knowledge, the history of Africa before colonization. 2.8 million years ago, Africa was here. Al-Kebalan, the Garden of Eden, the origin of mankind, this continent. Africa. So how are we doing this? How can we do this? We need to come together. We need to understand this. That Africa, we were one. Africa, we're one people. We need to come together. We need to make sure that we bring into existence that one Africa passport. We need to bring our people together and create one army. We need to have our own currency. We need to have our own central bank. We need to have our own phone code. We need to fight for that to happen right now because there's so many discovery, and I'm telling you, we're sitting on heaven and we have no idea. We're sitting on heaven. We're living in heaven. And yet, it feels like hell. Why? Because of understanding. My people are perished because of lack of knowledge. Get this knowledge today. Read news. Read the history of this continent and understand who you are. Understand who you are. You're much better than who you think you are. This continent is a better place. Leaders, do your part to protect our territories, to protect our people. Work with everything you got to bring about development into this continent. Because there's so much more deep down the ground. And they're not yet discovered. But they're here. Everything happened here. The first human on earth was here. Guys, let me know. And in the comment section, what do you think about all of this? All right. I know. I enjoy reading your comments. So please don't hesitate to drop down in the comment section and let us know. I appreciate it, guys. I'll see you in the comment section.